So here's my question for Robert. As a matchmaker, which I got to say you're one of the best in the business, man. I think a lot of things that you've done. A lot of things that you've done with Goldenboy. Because I used to say in the beginning, I think my biggest criticism in the beginning of Goldenboy when you guys started off, which was a very young company, was that it's got to get better. And you've gotten better. The fights have gotten better. But how difficult is it for a matchmaker that's got one superstar and a potential superstar that we're not seeing right now? I mean, we're not seeing these guys. How frustrating is it for you so that you're going out and you're getting these opponents and nobody's signing on to take the deed to step in the ring with one Canelo, who I thought anybody would want to step in with them, but nobody's doing it. And then you got Garcia, where we're reading right now that he doesn't want to step in the ring with so-and-so because he's got to first figure out what is going on between him and Oscar De La Hoya and Goldenboy.
Well, one, it's the times. We're in unknown, territory. We've never been here before. But otherwise, I mean, under normal circumstances, you would find a dozen opponents that want to fight Canelo. However, not for the right reasons. They want to fight Canelo because, they want to pay. They want to pay. And you know what? Somewhat, it should be that way, and somewhat it is that way. But when they're trying to take it to another level, like I want to retire with this fight, that's where you got to question their mentality. Look, go and beat Canelo. Go and beat him. Not just show up and collect a payday. How many opponents have we seen that go in there and don't try, but they're okay because, hey, at the end of the day, I got paid? That shouldn't be the mentality. The mentality is, I want to be the best. I got to beat the best. And once I beat the best, I'm going to make millions of dollars after that. But not just by saying, I hit the lottery, I'm going to fight Canelo, I already made it. And some of these guys are like that. Now, go back to the 80s or even in the 2000s, and you didn't have that mentality. You had, I want to fight him because I want to beat him, because in order to be considered a great fighter, I have to beat guys like this.
Right.
That mentality is not there today. It's not, and that's affecting. But as far as the frustrating on me, no, because obviously when this first started, the pandemic, I didn't think it was going to be 100-plus days. I said, okay, it'll be a couple weeks. We're going to be shut down. Then a couple weeks turned into 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks. Now it's like, California just got locked down once again today. And it's like, okay, how long is this going to go? People, put on your mask. People, avoid the crowds. Let's get this done and over with so we can get back to our daily lives. And in the past, it's frustrating when you want to do fights as a matchmaker, but you have so many obstacles. There's so many fights out there that we could have done or want to do, and a lot of times they get killed by one of those obstacles. That could be a father, a mother, a spouse, a trainer, a manager. The last ones to kill it would be a fighter, because, look, at the end of the day, most of the time, they're willing to step in the ring with anybody, and they want to step in the ring. But you have a lot of people around them saying, oh, right now is not the time. Even right now, through the pandemic, you're getting fights turned down because, oh, we'll wait till it's better, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
But, Robert, let me ask you this. Didn't this, before the whole pandemic thing, the COVID-19, don't you think that, because I've been saying this, I thought Eddie Hearns kind of changed the game, and honestly, I thought he was throwing out his wallet before cashing in by saying, I got $1 billion budget. Do you think that had something to contribute with some fighters that are kind of overlooking what they can get paid facing Canelo Alvarez by saying, like, hey, man, $5 million when they only get paid $700,000? They're saying, I want $5 million. Give me $5. That's chump money. Give me $10 million. We're not even worth that yet. Don't you think that kind of hurt the market for you guys?
Absolutely, because you're throwing out numbers that don't exist, and in a sense of hey, look at this side. You want to come over here, and it's happened before. You want to put such a value and such a, high purses, but at the end of the day, any business, if you're there for the long run, can't be successful when you're just giving away free money. It's going to come back sooner or later and bite you in the ass. It has to. A lot of times we're pointing, they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. You'll hear that. And first of all, the fans don't know what we're paying. And it's one thing with us, and you've seen from the past, we don't like to throw out numbers. And, hey, we paid it. We personally, I've gone to Dan Rafael and said, hey, why do you like to post purses? Oh, people like it. No, people like it. The fans like it when he started or when people started throwing out these numbers. It's very dangerous for a lot of these fighters, from other countries that are in very difficult and poor situations to throw out these high numbers. I'll give you an example. Jorge Linares had his brother put a gun to his head and carjacked in Venezuela. Venezuela is going through some horrible times right now. So when they hear purses of, let's just say, $1 million, they don't know that from the million, you got to pay a manager percent, you got to pay the trainer percent, you got to pay cutman, you got to pay tax. By the time it's million turns into 300 or 400, which is still a lot of money over there, or Nicaragua, or any other country, Mexico, the people are just reading headlines. And these people that are out to go, they can go easily and kidnap a family member and say, look, there's a ransom for this. So I've always been against that. The fans should be interested in fighter A versus fighter B, not what network he's going to fight on, or how many pay-per-views you'll sell, or how much he's getting paid. That's none of our business. I mean, it's only, when he signs the contract, like in baseball or basketball, okay. But every game, they don't tell you how much he's making, or how. You keep reminding him it's only in boxing, because obviously it's that every time there's that event.
I think one of the results of that, too, has just been like the explosion of the fanager culture. Fans that act like managers on Twitter or on YouTube. And, I remember when I used to debate fights with people 10 years ago, it was all about skills. Now it's about, how much money they make and what's the best business move. What do you think about that? Like the manager culture that's out there.
You're absolutely right. Look, in boxing, it's probably one of the only sports I can think of, or in business, where there isn't really a tech school that people go to. I didn't go to somewhere to say, I want to be a matchmaker tomorrow. Can you train me for this? It obviously happened, but you have so many walks of life in boxing that get in boxing. People from any type of industry, business, background or not, are in boxing. So the fans, and I think a lot of it with social media became more boisterous. You have so many experts. And I say it in a good and a bad way, because some of these experts out there are some of the best matchmakers, when I'm referring to fans, because they'll come up with ideas of fights and they'll be like, yeah, that is a good fight. However, take in consideration this manager versus this manager, or this trainer, I'm not going to take that fight because, he's too tall, he's a southpaw. But there's some great ideas out there. But when they come into numbers, even people in the industry that have been in boxing so long, you'd be surprised how little they know when it comes to the business part. So they might know.
Yeah.
And it's so different than other sports. I mean, you never hear fans of Novak Djokovic and fans of, Roger Federer debating how much money they're making. It's all about it's all about their skills.
And you never hear, okay, let's say in baseball or basketball, the father and mother getting involved with, no, you know what, you can't travel to this city because I've had bad experience in that city, so no, I don't want you to play a game over there. It's very different. They have a manager, they have an agent, and they have a team. The general manager calls the shots, and the owner. I mean, it's very different. In boxing, all of a sudden, everybody started having a voice. And And it's good to have the good opinion, but when people know the business, you'll have a wife all of a sudden say, I'm going to be the manager, or a husband, if it's, a female fighter. So it's very different. Who have you managed before? Well, it doesn't matter because that's my spouse or that's my brother. He has the best interest. Yes, he does. But remember, when it's a father, a brother, somebody really close, all they're seeing is that tunnel vision. This is the best fighter in the world. Really? Why? Because I love him, or because he's my son and he's the great. So it blocks the business part compared to who else have you worked with. Well, this is the only one, but I've worked with him.
That just goes back to what I was saying was like, I know the fans had contributed to that. Al Heyman wasn't talking about, how much he was paying. It was the fighters themselves that were saying, hey, I'm getting paid a lot of money. Why would I want to do this? But I was like, why is Eddie Hearns out there flaunting how much he's getting? I thought that was pretty dumb for him to do, and it's kind of caused some fights to be avoided or not happen because of the fact that he was saying, hey, this is what I got. So I guess what I'm asking you guys is has there any been a point behind closed doors that anybody said, hey, ya cállate, way, like, shut up, bro, be quiet already, let us do our job because you're making it difficult for us to make better fights happen?
It has been mentioned amongst a lot of promoters to each other, and some get it, and some will tell you, yeah, you're right, yeah, okay, let's not do that, let's work together, and then they go do it even more. Because remember, a lot of boxing is ego, and that little, pounding on the chest type thing, ha, 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 I got over. At the end of the day, yeah, you might have got over one or here or there, but you're screwing yourself in the long run. Because good example, go through a pandemic, things are going to change. There's no gate, there's no attendance, there's no fans. So that affects right there your revenue. It has to affect your budget. So can you go back to that fighter that you were paying $1 million for a tune-up level fight and say, now I'm going to pay you $1 million or even less because of budget cuts, but now I'm going to put you in a real fight? The fighter's not used to that. They're going to be like, no. That's one thing. When you keep the market level where it is, where it should be, the fighters are earning their own money, and they're proud of it. Nobody's giving. I've always told fighters this. No matter how much they're paying, somewhere, they're going to get it back because nobody's in the business to lose money. So don't buy this up front here or there because they're not bonuses. They could be advances. They're going to get it back. Nobody's giving away free money. But when you're doing fights at a fair value, fair market, or maybe even above market a little bit, not extremely just overpaying because it's not your money, then it's easier the transition right now. Because we've been right here, down, like going the same path. We're not really changing, and we haven't changed. We haven't done the show, but we tried it a couple of times, and it just, again, it didn't go through because of the verses. Okay, but here we are. We have the other fights going, and you'll see once they're reported, they're good. They're good purses. They are good purses, and we'll continue to do that because it's one thing to overpay and it's another thing to underpay. There's a fine line to obviously maintaining in business. And, you mentioned earlier, right now, one star, what has, and potentially one coming up, what has me, tranquil, I'm calm, but just to keep doing our job because just the mere fact that we've done it before, we know we can do it again. And what I mean by that is remember that Deontay, Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, the Charlo, They all started with Goldenboy. They all debuted. Santa Cruz,
They did.
Abner Mata, they all debuted. All of them. You know, all the stars that today are the headlines over there, they all came through this farm system, if you want to call it. But we built
your guys' first champion was Abner Morris. Great.
Correct.
That was a great champion. You know,
and it takes a lot of times they thought, you know, at the beginning, like even when I started at Goldenboy, people were always saying, "Oh yeah, they have all the known champions because Barrera was there, Mosley and Marquez and Hopkins."
Right.
But they don't know how. The knock on Goldenboy was they do not know how to build fighters. They only get them once they're built because Goldenboy hadn't been around to have the time hadn't been put in to have a pro debut already be a champion. It normally
that was such a great
takes 5 years.
kickstart, though. That was.